This video will show how to use the new RepInfo wizard in the SCIDIP-ES RepInfo Toolkit. The new RepInfo wizard helps you to use an external tool to create new RepInfo. Its main purpose is to guide you towards using a tool that's appropriate for the kind of RepInfo you want to create. So here we will start with a blank Rido. We'll right-click and select Create New RepInfo. The first thing we have to do is to choose which category of RepInfo to create. Now, category is just a path string that has words separated by slashes. The more words, the more specific the category. So other/access software is a subcategory of other, and so on. The list of categories comes from the current set of available registries. Let's choose semantic document and click on Next. Now the RIT shows us a list of tools that can be used to create RI of our chosen category. For each tool, it shows its name, a brief description, a list of prerequisites that are required for using the tool, and the last column shows whether or not the tool is available in the system we're using at the moment. So if I select a tool that's not available, such as PSPad, and click Next, the next page tells me that if I go ahead and click Finish, I'll be taken to a web page that has more information about using PSPad to create semantic document RepInfo. But let's go back instead and choose a tool that is available. And let's just choose Notepad and click Next. The next page asks us for some details about the RepInfo we're going to create. Its name, a description, who created it, why and when. Once we've given it these details, we could click the Finish button and go ahead, but I'll just click the next button because that tells us what's going to happen. It says when we press Finish, it's going to launch Notepad, our chosen tool, to create the semantic document RepInfo. And it reminds us that once the RepInfo has been created, we have to add its location in the RepInfo properties editor. That is, we need to supply a reference for it. The RepInfo Toolkit doesn't know where the tool we're launching is going to put the RepInfo, so we have to tell it once it's finished. So if I click Finish, Notepad launches, and I can use this to put some details about my new RepInfo and then save that somewhere. And now, if we come back to the RepInfo Toolkit, we can see that the details we supplied in the dialog are now added to this Rido. And we can also see that the Rido now has a question mark, and this means that it has information that's not updated in any registry at present. So before we can put this into a registry, there's a couple more things we need to do. So firstly, we need to supply a location for our document. And ideally, what we should do is we should put it in a nice shared location that can be used by anyone who's trying to use this RepInfo. And the other thing we need to do is we need to associate a graph label with this RepInfo before it can be put into any registry. So I'm going to do that by clicking on the Rido and saying Search. And I know it's a text document, so I'm going to look for graph labels to do with text. And I'll choose English text in ASCII and add that to my network model. So now the top Rido has some graph label details, including a version and a registry. The RepInfo, which we've just added, doesn't have an ID or a registry. It only has a dummy version number because we haven't put it into a registry yet. But I can do that now by right-clicking on it and choosing Update in Registry. And this shows us that it's going to update my new RepInfo RI. In some registry, we still have to choose it because it's a new object, so I'm going to choose APA. And I'm already logged into APA, so I don't need to log in to update it. Notice that it's not going to update the graph label because we haven't changed it. If I say OK, then it updates it in the registry, and now we should see that the RepInfo now has a version number and a registry and an ID, and the question mark has disappeared from the top level Rido. So this is now updated in a registry, and we are finished.